That the British education has to go. The very education in our country was crafted for that, to produce clerks, sport, art, music, theatre. Every dimension of life is a wealth for this nation. It is not just clerks, managers, teachers and scientists who make the nation. The most significant thing about the generation that is next is the teachers. It's not a business transaction that you're planting seeds which will blossom well after your time. But that is the greatest thing about being a teacher. Namaskaram. Good morning to everyone. Well, I wouldn't dare lecture to the principals of schools. But we're at a time that when it comes to education, we're in a cusp where our fundamental thinking about what is education needs to go through not a change, but a complete transformation. A time is coming where acquiring knowledge will be of no value. A time is coming where scholarship will be laughed at. A time is coming where projecting data accumulation as intelligence is going to be a thing of the past. Projecting good memory as intelligence is going to go away, which is the very foundations of the education systems of the day. Whoever has good memory is rated as the most intelligent person. Well, today you know your cell phone has better memory than you. That's why we call the phone smartphone. You wouldn't call somebody smart unless they were smarter than you. Hello? If you call the phone as smart, obviously it is smarter than you. Because our idea of being smart is about how much GB do you carry. Some of our phones are 600 GB. Believe me, you don't have that kind of memory. This whole process of accumulating information, assimilating it, processing it, and throwing out bits and pieces out as knowledge, whether it is scientific knowledge or religious stuff, that by reading a book, projecting yourself as intelligent is going to go away, because machines will do it far better than you and me. Machine learning or artificial intelligence as it is being built today is essentially about how much data can you gather, process and express. Unfortunately, for the last few centuries, I would say for nearly 250 years across the world, education meant just this: accumulating data, vomiting it somewhere, usually in the examination paper, and you're rated as brilliant. I must tell you, well, he was telling you that I was also in a regional school, demonstration multipurpose school. When I was 13 years of age, for the first time, I saw a calculator, a flatbed calculator. It's not like today, a 2-year-old is handling a smartphone or iPad or something. I saw a calculator for the first time when I was 13 years of age. It was a flatbed calculator. Those days there were only 2 companies making this, Panasonic and Sony. Sony was very expensive, 125 rupees. Panasonic, you could go to one of those Burma bazaars or Hong Kong market or whatever you called it, with little bargaining power, you got it for 90 rupees. So everybody bought Panasonic, a 90 rupee flatbed calculator. Somebody brought this to school and it was a miracle. Tuk, 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 into tuk, 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 tuk. I looked at this. Immediately my first thought was, if this is this simple, why are they torturing me in the mathematics classes? Why are they trying to teach me this into that, that into this, cos? It could even do all the sine and cos and all that stuff. I said, everything is here. Why are they torturing me? I sat there and imagined a day when these kind of machines will come, which will know all the chemistry formulas, all the physics stuff and mathematics and everything, so that I don't have to come to school. Well, I rarely went, but even that little bit of force that I had to be there. This dream of mine 50 years ago is slowly coming true now. In the next 10 years, it's going to be real. That everything that you can learn from a book and remember, a machine can do it better than you and me. These are great times for human beings. A lot of people, it's crazy, they're inviting me to artificial intelligence conferences in various places. I was in St. Petersburg and I was supposed to speak on artificial intelligence. I said, why of all the people you chose me? I'm not artificial intelligence. I thought I was a little natural. They said, no, the problem is we will all lose our jobs. What are we supposed to do? I said, you've always been cursing Monday morning when you have to go to work. If you lose your job, isn't it fantastic? You're on a vacation. If machines do all the work, isn't it really fantastic? See, this is like the coolie in the port at one time. In probably 60s and 70s, he complained heavily because the cranes and gantries came and they started lifting the load off the ship and putting it effortlessly. These guys, there was a time, I'm telling you, in Mumbai dock, in the Mazagon dock, if a ship came, those vessels were not of the size that they are today. Usually they were 100, 150,000 ton vessels. If they came, they would unload it for over 3 to 4 months. Today a 250,000 ton vessel comes in the major ports, within 24 hours it is unloaded. Of course, all the labor who had built their muscle just to carry sacks, they all complained, if these machines come, they will destroy our life. Did they or not? All the trade unions complained or not at that time? Hello? So similarly, teachers should not complain and make the same mistake that the coolies did at that time. So what will we do if all machine learning comes? It will be great time, because how much memory you carry on your head will not be of value. What kind of a human being you are will be the highest value. Isn't it fantastic time for human beings? The keenness of your perception, the sharpness of your intelligence will be more important than the volume of memory you carry in your head. These are good times, real good times for human beings to unfold, because this cargo of so-called knowledge is killing human beings. Just ramping up information into a child's head in many ways is killing the fundamental genius that every human being carries within themselves. I see if machine learning comes very quickly, in our generation we can see children blossoming into highest levels of intelligence. Unfolding of genius will happen, because right now this heap that you have to carry on your head, try to remember all those things, cos theta, sin theta, is driving you crazy, when a simple machine can do it. Human intelligence is of a different nature. We should never misunderstand memory as intelligence. Memory makes a few things simple, but it doesn't find excess. Memory is always of the past, isn't it? Hello? Can memory unfold the future? If you invest in memory, you will only repeat the past, a modified past as future. This is what is happening to human societies. If past should not be repeated, if we have to live a fresh life in the next moment, in tomorrow, if our tomorrow has to be different from yesterday, it is very important that human beings learn not to invest in memory. We use memory. If the machine carries it, we can use it and leave it. What we want, we can take it. What we don't want, we can leave it. But carrying it with you all the time, people are becoming recycling of the past all the time. Because once you have invested in memory, everything that you have is just recycling of the data that you have already gathered. This is, in many ways, really stifling the human genius. Every human being has a certain element of genius in them. It is only a question of, will we be able to provide the right kind of ambience for that particular genius to unfold? This is a challenge. This should be the challenge of the teachers of tomorrow. How do we provide that atmosphere to each unique human being so that they can unfold? That should be the only challenge we must be handling as teachers and people who are in charge of schools. But right now, our 90% of the focus is how to ram memory into their heads. This is a time that all of you, as educationists, you are at a point where the sooner we transform our education system, the better edge our children will have for the future in the world. How quickly we shift to machine learning will determine where India will be in another 30 to 40 years' time. So you have a tremendous responsibility, but as already introduced, you're supposed to grill me. I leave it to you. Please, if you have questions, whatever kind. Please.
So, प्रणाम गुरुजी।
Yes, sir, please.
हम लोग सभी हमारे विद्यालय में विद्यार्थियों को एक आदर्श नागरिक बनाने का प्रयास में हम लगे हुए हैं, लेकिन कई बार हमें ये फील होता है कि हम लोग जिस विद्यालय से मैं हूँ, भोपाल रीजन में राजगढ़ एक ग्रामीण क्षेत्र आसपास में है, दूर दूर से बच्चे आते हैं, लेकिन हमारी ये समस्या हम महसूस करते हैं कि जो आर्थिक दृष्टि से पिछड़े वर्ग के पेरेंट्स है, निर्धन है, ग्रामीण परिवार से आते हैं, वे अपने बच्चों को एक तो नियमित रूप से भेज नहीं पाते, दूसरा शिक्षा के प्रति जो अवेयरनेस और जो जागरूकता उनमें होना चाहिए कि शिक्षा ही एक ऐसी सबसे बड़ी शक्ति है आज के युग में कि वे अपनी सारी समस्याओं को दूर कर सकते हैं, लेकिन पेरेंट्स उतने जागरूक नहीं है, उतनी अवेयरनेस नहीं है। इसके लिए व्यक्तिगत रूप से क्या किया जा सकता है हमारे?
So we must understand this. Though India is one nation, there are at least 4 to 5 nations within India. Not everybody is in the same level of needs. There is a most affluent class in the country. There is a segment which is upper middle class whose aspirations are very different. There is middle class where it's always about how will our children get jobs and stuff. And there is rural and other dimensions which you're referring to, where it's only about somehow getting out of that social and economic pit in which they are. We cannot address all these categories as one. It is wrong to do that. In the name of uniform education, we are trying to do this. I understand the thought behind it, but it's not practical. It's because of this. Over $24 billion worth of education in India is going out to outside universities because those who can afford, they don't want their children to study here because it is common class education. It's very important that we are able to provide for every segment of society This is not to discriminate, this is not to segregate, but anywhere in the world it's like that. According to one's economic capabilities, different levels, whether you go to a restaurant or you take a bus or you take a train, there is first class, second class, third class, isn't it? Well, third class people won't be taken only halfway journey. They also travel full journey. Yes or no? Just because somebody gets into a third class compartment, it's only a question of comfort and ambience and stuff. But the distance and the destination is same for first class and third class, isn't it? If you say we will make everything third class, a whole segment of people will not travel by train anymore. That's for sure. So similarly in education, this is not about classes. I would not like to use the word class when it comes to education, but the needs are different. If we do not provide this, we will not create a variety of human beings that we need for this nation's well-being. We need leaders, we need scientists, we need teachers, we need engineers, we need farmers, we need craftsmen, we need variety of people to make a nation happen. Right now, our entire education is actually oriented towards elite. Everybody is supposed to go to the university. That's how our education is constructed. Everybody need not go to the university. University is not a place to live. Like some people in Delhi, I hear till they're 40, they're living in the university. You must live in this universe, not in the university. So, the whole population aiming towards the university is not the right kind of education. This is the education designed by Her Majesty's Service. We have made some changes, but we need more drastic changes. I am saying, this may sound extreme to you, but what I am saying is, except the language, everything that the British left in the education has to go. Language is a passport to the world. We must keep the language. Everything else need to go because that was designed for a specific purpose. Where obedience is higher than intelligence. That's not the way to bring up our children. That is the way to bring up occupied population. When we occupy a nation, we want obedience. When we are raising our children, obedience is not what we want. We want them to flourish. We want them to be more intelligent than us. Our children must be 2 steps ahead of us, isn't it? So if that has to happen, we have to craft this. Just to give you some sense of this, we are running 3 different types of schools. More as model schools so that these systems can be incorporated by everybody. We have one level of schools in rural India, in remote places where there is usually no proper education facility. These are called Isha Vidya schools. Here the focus is mainly to get them out of their economic and social conditions. They will never get out of those social conditions in which they are, unless you move them away in some way. They must have a passport to go anywhere they want, not stuck in the same place. Almost 46 to 47% of the children who are in our schools are first generation going to school. Their parents have never been to school. This education, at the age of 6, we start English language and computer usage because these 2 are passports for them to step out. We have another school called Isha Home School. This is for the affluent, where it is run this way. 20 children will stay in a large household with 2 committed parents, and all education happens within the house except for libraries, laboratories and playgrounds. Everything else is largely within the home kind of atmosphere. In a very caring, committed way, this process happens. The education is in a thematic way, in a sense. We always start the school when the monsoons are pouring, so the first, second, third standard always starts off with monsoon. We get them soaked in the rain, which parents never allow them to do. They really get through and through, soaked to the bone, And then we talk about the chemistry of monsoon, the other meteorological aspects of the monsoon, the economy of the monsoon, the psychological impact of the monsoon. Everything is from the monsoon, because you cannot ignore monsoon in southern India next to the Western Ghats. And when monsoon is happening, you're telling them E is equal to mc squared. It's not going to work. The children are interested in the rain. They think the sky is falling apart. This is the time to get them engaged in that. So this school is run in a certain way. This costs money. This kind of arrangement costs money.